Welcome everyone to tonight's special council meeting. I am the Mayor, I'm Councillor Georgina Papafodio. I declare this meeting open at 6 p.m. I would like to extend a warm welcome to members of the public who are viewing at home. Due to social distancing directives received from the state government, councillors will be attending this special council meeting by electronic means. This meeting is deemed open to the public via an online live stream available through Council's website. An audio and video recording of the meeting will be published on Council's website after the meeting. The application used to live stream this meeting requires details on registration. However, these details are hidden from all other attendees at the meeting. Members of the public will not be recorded in the process, and Brimbank City Council does not record this information. This special meeting of Council has been called in accordance with Clause 18 of the Meeting Procedure Local Law for Council to consider the following: the draft governance rules, the draft public transparency policy, the draft councillor support major policy, revoking the Brimbank City Council governance meeting procedure Local Law number 1, making chapters 2, 3 and 4 of the governance rules a local law pursuant to the Local Government Act 2020. The draft delegation to the Chief Executive Officer to appoint an acting Chief Executive Officer, and lastly, a confidential contractual matter. Item 1, opening. Please stand for the acknowledgement of country. On behalf of Brimbank City Council, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Wurundjeri people, and pay our respects to elders, past, present and emerging. Item 2, council commitment. I ask councillors to remain standing for the council commitment. Others may be seated. Thank you. As a council, we will act in the best interests of the Brimbank community and consider the immediate and long-term impacts of our decisions. We will make these decisions fairly and without bias. We will uphold all of our obligations under the laws of Victoria and Council's local laws, and will act in accordance with our code of conduct. Thank you, councillors. Item 3, apologies or leave of absence. I note that Councillors Hedich and Councillor Tarkos have each submitted an apology for tonight's meeting. Item 4, disclosure of conflicts of interest. Are there any declarations of conflicts of interest, councillors? No, thank you. New item, a statement about further COVID restrictions. Councillors, given the state government's announcement today about further restrictions within our municipality, I would like to use this opportunity to make a short statement to communicate key information to our community. Under our meeting procedure, only the business specified in our special council meeting can be considered at this meeting, unless all councillors present agree to deal with another matter. May I have a mover of motion to admit this additional item of business? Councillor Goodchair. Minute taker, could you please share the screen?
Madam Mayor, I'll move the motion that Council agrees to admit an additional item of business to permit the Mayor to read a statement relating to the further restrictions announced by the Victorian State Government on the 30th of June 2020.
Thank you. Minute taker, please stop sharing the screen. May I have a seconder? Councillor David. Does anyone want to speak to this? No, I will put this to a motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Okay, thank you, councillors. To our Brimbank community, this afternoon, the Premier of Victoria, Mr. Dan Andrews, in conjunction with the Chief Health Officer, announced further restrictions in and around some Brimbank suburbs to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. This signals a significant change in the statewide response to managing coronavirus, as there has been a significant increase in cases over recent days. Unfortunately, parts of Brimbank have been identified as a COVID-19 hotspot, along with a handful of other municipalities across Greater Melbourne. For some residents, a return to stage 3 stay-at-home restrictions will come into effect from midnight tomorrow and will be in effect until at least the 29th of July. We are asking our community to please follow the advice of the health authorities, which means for those in postcodes 3038, 3012, 3042 and 3021, taking in the suburbs of Auburn Brooklyn, Kialba, Kings Park, St Albans, Keilor Downs, Keilor Lodge, Keilor Park, Taylors Lakes and Water Gardens. They must follow the additional directions of the Chief Health Officer. From midnight tomorrow, those living in these suburbs are not to leave their homes except for food and supplies, medical attention and caregiving, exercise, or work and education, if these cannot be done from home. The sooner we carefully follow the advice, the sooner we can have these new restrictions lifted. It is vital that we do what we can and share the responsibility for taking control of the virus and work with the authorities to help ourselves. Council is working through what the impact of the restrictions means to our community, as well as our staff in the identified suburbs. We are a proud, hardworking and resilient community, but there is no doubt that these new measures will compound the socioeconomic issues our community is already experiencing. We know that some of our community members will struggle and some of our businesses will suffer hardship during this next 4 weeks of increased restrictions, not just in the identified suburbs, but across the whole municipality. Our community and our council will need assistance to help us to get through this period and to begin to recover from this pandemic. We will continue to talk to the Department of Health and Human Services and the state government to understand how we support them and how we support our communities. Now is a time for more support, resources and investment into Brimbank to support our community to fight and recover from this. We call on the state government to work with us and provide a dedicated COVID-19 health, wellbeing and economic package for Brimbank that will support impacted residents and businesses now and as we work to recover over the longer term. Finally, as Mayor, I am proud to lead this council and I reaffirm that we will do everything within our power to get through this together. Thank you to the entire Brimbank community. Please look after each other and most importantly, stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you. Our next item, item 5, designation of items as confidential. There is one item to be designated as confidential this evening. May I have a mover of a motion to designate this item as confidential? Councillor Borg.
I would like to move the motion or the recommendations of the officers. Thank you.
Share the screen. Yep. Thank you. Minute taker, please stop sharing the screen. May I have a seconder? Councillor Trull. Would the mover like to speak to this motion? No. Would the seconder like to speak? Anyone else? Thank you. I'll put this motion to a vote. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Item 6, officer reports. There is one officer report for consideration by council tonight. This is item 6.1, draft Brimbank governance rules. And I will ask our director, Dan Hogan, to present this report. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillors, the report you are being asked to consider tonight is being introduced by way of special council meeting in order to meet a statutory deadline of September 1, 2020, as set under the new Local Government Act of 2020. By this date, council must adopt governance rules, a public transparency policy and an expenses policy. These 3 items are attached to your report tonight. It would have been the preference of the organisation to have had these items presented at an ordinary meeting of council within our standard meeting schedule, but accompanying regulations have not yet been issued by the state government. Notwithstanding this fact, due to the need for community consultation, we can no longer delay the consideration of council of these items. As a further consequence of the new Act, which introduces a raft of changes, it is also necessary for council to consider an instrument of delegation to the CEO, which will allow the CEO to appoint an acting Chief Executive Officer for a period not exceeding 28 days. This is also attached as 6.1.4. Madam Mayor, I commend the report and officer recommendation for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Councillors, are there any questions or points of clarification? None? Do I have a mover for this report? Councillor Goodich. Councillor Goodich, do you want to move this report?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'll move the recommendation as printed in the business papers. Thank you.
Minute taker, could you please not share the screen? Thank you. Do I have a seconder for this report? Councillor Aziz. I invite Councillor Goodich to speak to this report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I understand that there are also 2 councillors to be appointed to the Hearing of Submissions Committee, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
May I suggest, Madam Mayor, that yourself and myself be appointed to that committee? And I'd just like to say, Madam Mayor, this is a draft. These are draft rules. And I understand that we are in a position that we have to have a special council meeting for this, but nonetheless, we have to do what we have to do, and we have to prepare our community with these very important regulations that this council is about to put out to consultation. So I do ask the community, even though in these very dire circumstances, to have a look at our website, to have a look at these 4 reports, and to please get back to us if there are any concerns whatsoever with these new rules coming through. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Goodich. Just to note, I'm happy to chair the committee, but we do need 2 councillors, so yourself and 1 other councillor.
Okay.
So who would like, councillors, who is interested in sitting on this committee? Councillor David, thank you.
I was going to suggest you, Councillor David.
Thank you, Councillor Goodich. Councillor Aziz, would you like to speak to this report? No? Do I have any other speakers for this report? Councillor Lancashire? You need to unmute. Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just simply to thank the staff for having to work through this in what has been probably a difficult timeline. So thanks to the staff and their terrific effort on getting this special committee meeting up and making sure that we achieve our timelines, which is most important. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lancashire. Any other speakers? Okay, I'll put it to a vote. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Item 7, confidential business. Minute taker, please stop sharing your screen. Thank you to everyone who is currently viewing the live stream of this meeting. We are now at the part of the meeting where we will consider the confidential contractual matter without members of the public in attendance. This meeting will now be closed to members of the public who will be placed in the holding bay for the duration of the consideration of the confidential item. As the last item for this evening, members of the public may wish to cease viewing, in which case I would like to thank you for your interest in tonight's meeting. We will reopen the meeting to the public to formally close this meeting after this item is considered by council. The meeting is now closed to members of the public at 6:16 p.m. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I thank you again for your patience. I declare this meeting reopened at 6:21 p.m. Council has considered the confidential item and resolved it will remain confidential at this stage. Meeting closed. Thank you all for attending and for your interest at tonight's meeting. I declare this meeting closed at 6:22 p.m. I instruct the host to stop recording this meeting. Thank you.